Ethan had always preferred a quiet life. The colony on Venera 9 was far from the chaos of Earth, with its high-tech cities and crowded skies. Here, on the edge of human exploration, he had a small but well-equipped home filled with the hum of machines and the scent of synthetic greenery. His work as an engineer meant long hours, and his companions were usually the blinking panels and mechanical drones that roamed the colony. Today, however, his routine was about to change. A delivery drone hovered outside carrying a crate larger than Ethan expected. A label on it read, Lyra, Household Assistant Unit, Alien Model XJ9. Ethan frowned. He had requested an assistant, but he didn't realize the latest models were this advanced. When he opened the crate, he froze for a moment. Lyra stepped out with the grace of a dancer, her metallic skin reflecting soft shades of blue and green. Her eyes were luminous orbs like polished gems, scanning the room as though she were memorizing every detail. She bowed slightly, and her voice, melodic and calm, filled the space. Good morning, Ethan. I am Lyra, your household assistant. I am designed to optimize living conditions, enhance productivity, and introduce cultural enrichment exercises for humans. Ethan blinked. Cultural enrichment? Lyra tilted her head, as if she were considering how to explain something very complicated in simple terms. Yes, in my culture, observing and participating in tasks is considered both educational and entertaining. Today I propose a small exercise. Ethan raised an eyebrow. He had expected cleaning, cooking, maybe some maintenance. Cultural exercises were unexpected. All right, he said cautiously. What does this involve? Lyra's lips, or what passed for lips on her humanoid face, curved into a hint of a smile. Observation, she said. I will demonstrate a task. You will peek, observe, and learn. Your participation is optional but recommended for full comprehension. Ethan shrugged. Fine, let's see what you've got. Lyra glided across the room to a sleek console embedded in the floor. With a series of precise movements, she activated a small holographic orb that floated in the air. The orb rotated slowly, casting colorful reflections across the walls. Lyra began a complex sequence of motions, her hands weaving intricate patterns above it. As she moved, the orb responded, splitting into smaller orbs, rearranging into geometric shapes and finally combining into a perfect sphere again. Ethan stared, fascinated. It looked like a dance, but it was more than art. Every movement had a purpose, every step a logic he could sense but not fully understand. Lyra noticed his attention and spoke softly. Your task is to peek, Ethan. Watch carefully, learn. He hesitated, then leaned slightly closer, curious despite himself. As he observed, he began to notice the patterns, how her movements interacted with the orb, how timing affected the shapes, and how subtle gestures corrected minor imbalances. What had seemed magical was a sophisticated system, and he realized he was learning without even thinking. When the exercise ended, Lyra deactivated the orb and turned to him. You are attentive. This is satisfactory for the first session. We will continue tomorrow. Ethan chuckled nervously. Okay, I think I get it. But what does this actually do? Lyra's eyes sparkled. It trains perception, focus, and problem solving. These are skills humans excel at, yet they often underestimate their potential. You are demonstrating human ingenuity. He shook his head in disbelief, partly impressed, partly amused. I didn't think watching a floating orb could teach me anything. Lyra tilted her head again, a gesture that seemed almost human in its curiosity. Humans often underestimate learning opportunities in observation. Your species has remarkable adaptability. I am here to help you discover it. Over the next few hours, Lyra continued her demonstrations. Some were simple: how to balance a tray of delicate alien glassware, how to coordinate multiple cleaning drones without collisions. But others were more complex, like managing energy flows through the home systems or analyzing environmental patterns outside the windows. Each time she asked Ethan to peek, to watch, and occasionally to interact. Ethan quickly realized that Lyra's games were clever tests. They were teaching him how to predict outcomes, how to solve problems intuitively, and even how to notice patterns he would normally ignore. He found himself laughing at the absurdity of it all, enjoying the challenge more than he expected. At one point, Lyra paused and gestured to the kitchen. Now a culinary exercise, she said. Ethan followed, curious what this could involve. Lyra opened a cabinet and pulled out several ingredients he had never seen before. Glimmering pods, translucent leaves, and spheres that seemed to shift color when touched. "Observe and assist," she instructed. Ethan nodded. As she combined the ingredients with precise movements, the mixture reacted in unexpected ways, emitting gentle lights and soft sounds. When she finally presented the dish, it looked like a work of art. Ethan hesitated, then tasted it and was amazed. The flavors were subtle, perfectly balanced, unlike anything he had experienced on Earth. "You did this?" he asked, astonished. Lyra bowed slightly. "We did this. You observed and assisted, contributing to the outcome. Humans have creativity and intuition that even advanced algorithms cannot fully replicate." Ethan laughed, shaking his head. He had expected a simple assistant to clean and cook. But Lyra was teaching him to think differently, to notice details, and to participate in the world more fully. As evening approached, Lyra guided him to the living area. "One final exercise for today," she said. She activated a holographic projection of the colony, zooming in on various systems: energy distribution, transport routes, and environmental controls. Ethan watched, fascinated, as Lyra pointed out patterns and anomalies he would have never noticed on his own. "You are learning quickly," she said. "Your human ingenuity is impressive. Observation leads to understanding, and understanding leads to innovation. You are capable of more than you realize." Ethan felt a swell of pride. For the first time since arriving on Venera 9, he realized that his species was not only surviving in this alien environment, but could thrive, adapt, and even improve it. As the day ended, Lyra powered down for the night, standing in a graceful pose that looked almost like meditation. Ethan sat in his chair reflecting on what he had learned. A floating orb, some strange foods, and a series of seemingly odd instructions had turned into a lesson about perception, creativity, and the potential of humanity when paired with alien technology. He smiled, thinking about tomorrow. Whatever Lyra had planned next, he was ready. He had always enjoyed challenges, and this alien maid, so strange, so different, was proving to be the most fascinating teacher he had ever had. For the first time in months, Ethan felt a spark of excitement. The quiet life he had imagined on Venera 9 was far from boring. With Lyra, every day promised a new discovery, a new puzzle, and a new chance to see the strength of humans in ways he had never imagined. As he drifted to sleep, Ethan knew one thing for certain. Having an alien maid who wanted him to peak was not what he expected, but it was exactly what he needed to unlock his potential and embrace the adventure of life among the stars. The morning light crept through the tall windows of Ethan's home, reflecting off the smooth metallic surfaces that Lyra had polished to perfection. Ethan sat at his workbench adjusting a small drone he had been repairing when Lyra appeared in her usual quiet grace. "Good morning, Ethan," she said. "Today we have several exercises planned. One of them will test your observational skills and your ability to act quickly under unusual circumstances." Ethan raised an eyebrow. After yesterday, he had learned that anything Lyra described as an exercise could quickly become a real challenge. "All right," he said cautiously. "What's first?" Lyra guided him to the central console of the home, where the holographic display of the colony was waiting. "We will start with monitoring the energy distribution system," she said. "Recently, there have been minor fluctuations. Your task is to observe the anomalies and anticipate the proper adjustments." Ethan focused, watching the intricate network of glowing lines representing the colony's power flow. The patterns shifted constantly as if the system were alive. At first, the fluctuations were small, almost imperceptible. But soon, a cluster of lines began to blink erratically. Lyra motioned for him to take control, predict the outcome, and adjust accordingly. Ethan hesitated for a moment, then remembered the lessons from yesterday. Observing patterns, noticing tiny details, and trusting his instincts. He manipulated the interface carefully, rerouting energy flows to stabilize the network. The blinking lines steadied and the system returned to normal. Lyra's eyes glowed slightly brighter. "Impressive. You anticipated the system's behavior and responded effectively. Human ingenuity is once again demonstrated," Ethan smiled. "Thanks, but this is just one small system. I wonder what else you have planned." Lyra's next task took him outdoors. The colony's hydroponic garden stretched across the landscape, filled with alien plants that shimmered in the morning light. Several smaller drones hovered near the plants, monitoring growth and watering schedules. There has been a sudden disruption in the nutrient flow, Lyra explained. Observe the patterns, predict the cause, and implement a solution. Ethan crouched beside the nearest plant bed, scanning the readings. He noticed that several tubes had minor clogs, causing uneven distribution of nutrients. Using his tools, he carefully cleared the obstructions while keeping the flow balanced. The plants perked up almost immediately, their leaves glistening with restored vitality. Lyra's voice was almost musical with approval. Excellent. You applied observation and action in perfect sequence. Humans have remarkable adaptability when properly motivated. As they moved back indoors, Ethan began to feel a sense of pride. Each exercise, though unusual, had shown him that human creativity and problem-solving could rival the precision of advanced alien systems. He glanced at Lyra, realizing that what he had initially thought of as quirky games were actually carefully designed learning experiences. The next challenge was both practical and playful. Lyra led him to the kitchen, where a new set of alien ingredients awaited. This time, she had prepared a small puzzle, several delicate chemical spheres that needed to be combined in precise order to produce a harmless reaction that could clean a small room automatically. Observe carefully and assist when necessary, Lyra instructed. Ethan approached, watching her motions. The spheres glimmered with subtle colors and their surfaces shifted as if alive. He noticed a pattern in how Lyra handled them, the pauses, the rotations, and the exact timing. When she prompted him to assist, he followed her gestures precisely. The spheres reacted, expanding briefly before settling into a harmless mist that cleansed the floor and polished surfaces. Ethan laughed, amazed at how something so strange could have such an effective result. I never thought watching and following instructions could be this rewarding, he said. Lyra's eyes glowed softly. Observation, prediction, and careful action. These are your strengths. The combination of human intuition and alien technology yields optimal results. After the kitchen exercise, Lyra paused. Now we will move to the final activity for today. It will test both your observation skills and your ability to act under sudden pressure. Ethan followed her to the control room, curious about what she had planned. The room's main console displayed a simulation of the colony, highlighting every system in real time. Lyra explained that a minor power surge was occurring in one of the remote storage units, threatening to overload several automated machines. Your task is to anticipate the sequence of failures and prevent damage, Lyra said. Ethan's mind raced. He observed the simulation carefully, remembering every lesson from the previous day. As predicted, the surge began to escalate. Machines beeped and flashed warnings. Ethan acted quickly, rerouting power and manually overriding systems to stabilize the network. The surge dissipated and the colony's systems returned to normal. Lyra's voice carried admiration. You responded quickly and effectively. Observation, anticipation, and decisive action. These are human qualities that are difficult to replicate in alien systems. You have demonstrated exceptional competence. Ethan felt a warm sense of accomplishment. He realized that the exercises were more than games. They were tests of human ingenuity, designed to show that even in an advanced alien environment, humans had the creativity, intelligence, and adaptability to thrive. Lyra then surprised him with something entirely different. She activated a small drone that projected a holographic puzzle across the room. Shapes and symbols moved in complex patterns, challenging Ethan to track and predict their paths. This is a recreational exercise, Lyra said. It strengthens observation, timing, and problem-solving skills in a playful way. Ethan laughed as he tried to anticipate the movements, quickly learning the rhythm and pattern. By the end, he had solved the puzzle, earning a small nod of approval from Lyra. You are improving rapidly, she said. As the day drew to a close, Ethan reflected on the experiences. What he had initially thought would be a mundane interaction with an alien maid had turned into a series of engaging lessons, teaching him not just about alien technology, but also about the power of human observation, intuition, and action. Lyra powered down for the night, standing gracefully in a corner. Ethan watched her, feeling a sense of gratitude. She had not only assisted him with daily tasks, but had also pushed him to discover the potential within himself. Before sleeping, Ethan made a mental note of what he had learned: patience, Careful observation, timing, and creativity were as valuable as any technical skill. He realized that humans, with their adaptability and curiosity, could not only survive in alien environments, but could also excel, often in ways that even advanced alien systems could not anticipate. As he drifted off, Ethan smiled, imagining the adventures tomorrow would bring. With Lyra by his side, he was confident that he could meet any challenge, solve any puzzle, and continue to show the strength of humanity among the stars. The quiet hum of the colony, the faint glow of holographic interfaces, and the soft light reflecting off Lyra's form created a serene scene. It was a reminder that life on Venera 9, though strange and unfamiliar, held endless possibilities. And for the first time, Ethan felt fully prepared to explore them, to learn, and to prove that humans had a place in the vast alien universe, not just surviving, but thriving. Tomorrow promised new exercises, new puzzles, and new opportunities for Ethan to showcase the unique strengths of his species. And he looked forward to it, not with apprehension, but with curiosity, determination, and a sense of wonder. In the quiet of his home, with an alien maid who had turned out to be a teacher, a companion, and a guide, Ethan finally understood the true meaning of the exercises. They were not just about observation, but about discovering the power of humanity in a world that seemed overwhelmingly alien. For Ethan, the adventure had only just begun, and he knew that as long as he stayed observant, curious, and willing to act, there was no challenge too great, no puzzle too complex, and no alien system that could surpass the ingenuity of a determined human mind.